What's up, Coaster Demons? Today I will be ranking every roller coaster I've rode at Six Flags over Georgia. I'm just going to tell you now that Mindbender and Joker's Funhouse Coaster were closed on the 1.5 days I had at Six Flags over Georgia. Overall, I really enjoyed my time at this park, and I will be doing a full review on this park soon and reviewing all the coasters here. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, let's get right into this video. Number 9 is the Lanaga Mine Train. This ride is absolutely terrible. The transitions are painful, the ride is extremely rough, there's no airtime, and the layout is extremely boring. This is an absolutely terrible roller coaster and is actually the second worst coaster I've ever ridden. This is overall a terrible coaster, and I'll never ride this again. Number 8 is Blue Hawk. I thought this ride was going to be a lot worse than it actually was. However, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but this ride is still an absolutely terrible coaster. The ride is actually extremely boring because for some reason the ride feels really slow. The ride still is pretty jerky and pretty rough. The trains didn't do anything to help this ride, as the vest restraints actually are very tight, and this ride is just not comfortable. Overall, this is not a good ride at all. Number 7 is Daredevil Dive. To be honest, this is a pretty underrated coaster. Many people say this ride is pretty boring and does nothing with its layout. However, I thought the drop had really good airtime. The inversions were really fun as you get great hang time on them. The ride actually feels pretty fast too. Even though the ride is short, this ride still actually packs a pretty good punch into its layout. The inversions are fun, there's a good airtime moment, and you seem to actually get whipped through many of the inversions. Although I don't know why people hate on this ride so much. I found it to be pretty fun. The ride is butter smooth too. And overall, I really enjoyed this ride. It's nothing special, but still a really fun ride. Number 6 is Georgia Scorcher. I went into this ride with really high expectations. I love Green Lantern at Six Flags Great Adventure, since that ride is very intense, pretty smooth, and the inversions are really good. And I heard this is like a mini version of Green Lantern. However, I found this ride to be way weaker than Green Lantern. The layout was not as good as I thought it was going to be, as I thought the layout was going to be much more forceful than it actually was. The ride is still very intense, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't as forceful as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's still a forceful ride, as I said, but it's definitely not as forceful as I thought it would be. There really isn't any airtime. The inversions have some whip, but not a lot. However, the biggest con with this ride is it was pretty rough. I thought this ride was going to be a lot smoother than it was. Instead, it actually wasn't that smooth. This is overall still a pretty fun ride, and I still did enjoy the ride, but it definitely wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Overall, I do like this ride, but it definitely was a disappointment. Number 5 is Superman Ultimate Flight. I'm not a big fan of the one at Six Flags Great Adventure. However, I really like this one. This ride felt way more intense than the one at Great Adventure. It felt a lot faster than the one at Great Adventure, and this ride actually had way more whip than the one at Great Adventure. It just felt like it was going way faster. The pretzel loop was way more forceful than the one at Great Adventure. I love this setting as it feels like you're about to hit the trees and hit the ground on many parts of the ride. The outer banks on the one at Great Adventure I found to be really stupid. However, I like the ones on this ride because you're so close to the trees, it feels like you could just touch them. Overall, this was one of the biggest surprises at this park, since I didn't expect the ride to be as good as it actually was. Overall, I really liked this ride and it was really fun. It's very forceful too. And this is overall a really fun ride. Number 4 is Great American Scream Machine. This was the biggest surprise at the park, because I didn't expect this ride to be very good at all. However, this ride was actually really good. Every hill gave really good ejector airtime, as I was thrown out of my seat on every hill. The restraints aren't even that bad, because I heard it prevents some airtime by some people. However, I was getting thrown out of my seat on every hill. Another one of the surprises with this ride is it wasn't even that rough. I expected this ride to be really rough. However, I didn't expect it to be that rough at all. It's still not the smoothest coaster in the world, but it's definitely not rough, actually. I found Thunderhead at Dollywood to be rougher. However, Thunderhead is still way better than this. I still really enjoyed this ride, and it was actually a really fun ride. I love the ejector airtime on this ride, and overall, this is an absolutely awesome coaster. I don't get the hate for it because I really liked it, and it was just overall a really fun ride with some great ejector airtime moments. Now we get into the top 3 at this park, and the top 3 at this park is absolutely amazing. Number 3 is Batman the Ride. This ride felt like a mini Alpengeist. I loved the one at Six Flags Great Adventure, but this one was even more better. The whole ride was forceful as it numbed my feet throughout the whole ride. The ride is extremely whippy as you get flung through every single inversion. Back row is the way to go on this ride, as you're just going to get thrown through every single element at a really fast-paced speed. This is overall an amazing invert, and it's extremely underrated. It's so intense, it's so whippy, it's aggressive, very aggressive actually. One of the most aggressive B&Ms I've ridden actually. This is overall an amazing coaster, and you gotta check it out when you go to Six Flags Over Georgia. Also, fun fact, this ride broke my original pair of eye views because how aggressive it was. Batman the Ride is still an absolutely amazing ride as you get thrown through every single element. The ride is very intense. And this one is actually definitely better than One Great Adventure. As much as I love the One Great Adventure, this one is definitely better because it felt like absolutely insane. It literally felt like a mini Alpen, guys. This ride is so good, and it's definitely an elite coaster. Number 2 is Goliath. This is the best B&M hyper coaster I've ridden. There is no floater on this ride actually. It's all flowjector and ejector. The first 2 camelbacks give great flowjector airtime as you're absolutely thrown out of your seat. The helix is my favorite helix on any coaster. It's so forceful and intense. But the final airtime hills, like the final camelbacks, and especially the finale, is strong ejector airtime. This ride, you're just getting thrown out of your seat on every single hill. The airtime is so much stronger than I was expecting it to be. The drop is the only con with this ride, is the drop was pretty weak, which was weak floater. The drop was definitely a disappointment. However, every other hill on this ride makes up for it because you're getting thrown out of your seat on every other hill. And also, this turn right here is pretty forceful as you get thrown to the side of the train, actually. It reminds me of the Daredevil Dive on Skyrush, which you get thrown to the side of the train as well. Overall, Goliath is an absolutely amazing B&M coaster, and is definitely my favorite B&M hyper. Candemonium is pretty close with it, but Goliath beats it out. This is overall an amazing B&M, and you gotta check it out when you come to Six Flags Over Georgia, but it's not the best ride at Six Flags Over Georgia. That goes to Twisted Cyclone. This ride is absolutely insane. It's very short, however the airtime is ridiculously strong. Every single hill on this ride is strong ejector airtime. The inversions give great hang time. Every moment on this ride packs a punch. From beginning to end, you're getting thrown out of your seat. The hang time is really strong. I love the first inversion as it's probably my favorite inversion I've actually experienced now. That inversion is so much fun, and it's just overall a great inversion. The drop is absolutely amazing. The airtime is absolutely amazing, especially that first hill. You are getting absolutely flung out of your seat, and it's just an absolutely insane moment. I love this ride so much. It currently ranks as my number 7 coaster. This is the weakest RMC I've ridden so far, but it's still an absolutely amazing coaster with some absolutely phenomenal elements throughout the whole ride. This hill right here is absolutely insane, as you're just going to get thrown out of your seat. This outer bank right here is also pretty good. But this ride is just overall such a good ride. It's extremely underrated. I don't get why people hate on this amazing RMC. The airtime is so strong. The inversions give great hang time, and this is overall an amazing ride, and it's easily the best ride at Six Flags Over Georgia. I love this ride so much, and it's just a fun ride. So there you have it. That's how I rank every coaster I rode at Six Flags Over Georgia. Make sure to like this video, also subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all next time. Keep coasting on my coaster demons. Peace out.